First, starting cybersecurity, I was into 3D and VFX. That's the film industry. And I wanted to learn ethical hacking, and I joined an institute called Boston Institute of Analytics, which is in Bangalore. And my that's how my career goes on. And today I am an instructor because of my hard work, dedication, and practice. So today's session will be introduction to cybersecurity and ethical hacking. And these are the agendas what we am going to cover today in this live session. Types of hackers, world of activism, practical is past use. What is past use and exploit Wednesday? What is zero day attack and how to prevent it, and how does zero day attack works? What is common vulnerability and exposure and identifiers? What is common vulnerability scoring system framework? What is the difference between penetration testing and ethical hacking? And what are the types of cyber security testing? And what are the careers you can go with as an information security role? And legislation and regulations and legal aspects scanning public website. So this is the agenda for today's session. So let us start. What is cyber security and ethical hacking? Cyber security refers to practice of protecting computer system network and sensitive data from unauthorized access, from theft and damage. It ensures confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information, which are crucial for both individuals and organizations. Ethical ethical hacking involves intentionally probing system for vulnerabilities, not for malicious purposes, but to identify and fix the security weaknesses. Ethical hackers are also called known as white hat hackers, are often hired to test security measures and ensure robust protection against cyber attacks. So this is the difference between cyber security and ethical hacking. Next, why is it important? It is important for protection of data, mitigate cyber threats, supports business community, compliance, that's the auditing part, and trust and reputation. So let me come from first. What is protection of sensitive data? Safeguards personal and organization data from breaches and unauthorized access. Mitigate cyber threats. That is defending against cyber crime like phishing, ransomware, and DDoS attacks. Supports business community, reduces downtime and potential revenue loss caused by cyber incidents. Complaints, that is known as cyber security auditing. That means helping to meet the regulatory requirements such as GDPR, HIPAA, PCI-DSS, and all the things. And NIST. Trust and building trust with the customers and stakeholders by showing a commitment to security. Where is cyber security and ethical hacking used? It is used in organizations, educational institutions, military and defense, personal devices, and cloud platform. In organizations, it is used in financial institutions, healthcare, e-commerce, and government sector to secure the operation. An educational institute to educate students and the company people about the online safety and security policies. Like example, if you ask about some company for educational purposes, some company people hire the blue hat hacker, that is the freelance hackers, to train the company people for social engineering attacks. That means how not to click the malicious links, whatever is coming through the mail, and why you should not click, and how the malicious link looks like in real life. So that is how educational institutions and companies play around. Military and defense, protecting the national security data and critical infrastructures. Personal device, it is used, see now, personal device means it is used in smartphone, laptop, IoT devices to prevent the hacking. Cloud platforms, ensuring safe storage and transfer of data in cloud services. How to use it properly. Stay ethical. Obtain proper authorization organization before testing any system. Like take permissions before penetrating inside any system. Avoid exploiting vulnerabilities for personal gain or harm. Following the standards. Use industry standards for framework like ISO, NIST, PCI DSS, HIPAA, and so on. Report the vulnerability. As you are an ethical hacker, if you find any vulnerability in a system or a website, please report the things to the correct team, so that the security team can handle over and there will be no hacking again. Keep learning. Stay updated with on new hacking techniques, malware and cyber security trends. Use legal tools. Employ tools that are widely recognized and compliant with legal standards. Now there are eight types of hackers. One is white hat hacker, that is known as ethical hacker, which all the companies hire. Black hat hackers are the people who gain unauthorized access and do bad things. Grey hat hackers are nothing but do good and bad people at both. Depends on their scenario and situation, they will transform accordingly. There is something called red hat hacker. That means red hat hackers are the hackers who first do the vulnerability testing and penetration testing inside the system. And if they find any loopholes, okay, they will ethically report the loopholes or vulnerability to the departing, the correct team, and they will check if they are doing it correctly or not. If they do not pass the vulnerability or loophole, then they become into black hat hackers and then they sell it to the dark web. Dark web in the sense all the website where all the illegal things happen. Blue hat hackers are the people who are hired externally to the companies to do the ethical hacking thing, vulnerability and penetration testing. Green hat hackers are the hackers who are in the learning stage. Like students are known as green hat hackers because they're learning. So people who learn hacking is known as green hat hackers. Script kiddies are aged between 10 to 15 years. So what they do is they learn ethical hacking. They learn hacking correctly, like from beginner to advanced level. And after they hack inside a system, they don't know what to do. So they do data breach and put it into the live things so the people can see it. Hacktivists are the people who promote agenda, government things, who political parties they support. Those people are known as hacktivists. The work of the different type of hackers and their character. White hat hacker. Hackers who use their skill to help organization to find vulnerability in their system and prevent from cyber attack. Black hat hackers. Criminals who gain unauthorized access to the system for personal gain, theft, and to cause damage to systems. Grey hat hackers who are between white hat and black, that is ethical and unethical hacking. Red hat hackers are who gain unauthorized access system and then they report to owners about the loophole vulnerability, as I told you. After they find the loophole and report it, they will see if they're fixing the loophole. If they do not fix it, they'll become black hat hackers and then cause theft to the, cause damage to the system or do the theft. Activists, these people promote political agenda or social agenda to carry out attacks on organizations or government as corrupt. Script kids, inexperienced hackers who use pre-written scripts or tools without understanding how they work, and then they do the bad things because they don't know what is all that about. There are three types of teams in cybersecurity. One is blue team, red team, and purple team. Now I will now there is explanation about all the three teams. Blue team, it is the defense team. They are there to protect the system by detecting and responding the security alerts and incidents. Red team are the people who are into offensive security team. They they are there to simulate real-time attacks to find out the vulnerability in the organization. Purple team to bridge the gap between red and blue team, enhancing communication and collaboration. How they work together in blue team defense against simulated attack, defending and responding to the incident. Red team conducts simulated attacks to test the organization defenses, how the blue team has defended it. And purple team between collaborates between the two, ensuring that lessons are learned from attacks and are used to improve defenses. Now, next, what is Patch Tuesday and Exploit Wednesday? See, now every day, every Tuesday, Microsoft gives an update for your system. Like as you people have seen, there's something notification coming up, right? Like pop up Java update and all. So that is the thing what Microsoft gives updates for every system and every Tuesday. If there are any update to be done, you have to do it without getting the update twist. What is exploit witness is hackers will try to hack and try to find out vulnerability in the system and try to take it down before they get the chance to fix the issue. So that's how that is known as exploit Wednesday. What are zero day? Zero day attackers. If an attacker is able to exploit the vulnerability before the developers can fix it, it is called as a zero day attack. How zero day attack works, we will see in the next coming up slide. Zero day attack, how it works is first they scan for the vulnerabilities. Then they spot for the loophole. They create a custom payload or pre-used payloads available. They infiltrate the system and exploit the system. So that's how zero day attack works. And how to prevent it, implement very strong security protocols. Keep updating your browser. Use very sophisticated software in the system and keep the security software up to date. So that's how you have to prevent zero day attack. Now let us talk about common vulnerability exposure identifier, that is known as CVE. Common vulnerability exposures CVE is a reference system publicly known as cybersecurity vulnerabilities and exposures. Each vulnerabilities in the CVE database is assigned a unique identifier in the form of CVE ID, which makes it easy for security professionals to share information and discuss the cybersecurity risk. See, now this there's something called CVE 2021 34527. That means 2020, in 2021 there was something called, there was a vulnerability known as Microsoft Windows print spooler remote code execution vulnerability. And 2021 21985 VMware's the remote code execution vulnerability. And in 2020 there is a error number called 1472. That means Microsoft Active Directory elevation of privilege of vulnerability. That means that is a very powerful, I mean the most high critical vulnerability. As Active Directory has most of the username, passwords and all the other documents, important documents. So if privilege escalation is taken as a vulnerability, it will be very dangerous for the company. I mean, or the organization. These identify. So this is how CVE is identified. These identifiers are used by security people to track, monitor, and share information about known vulnerabilities with others in the system. By using common identifiers, security teams can work together to more effectively and efficiently address the cybersecurity vulnerability and exposures. What is CVSS score? CVSS score means, see now there is in website hacking, web shell, while you're getting a web shell, there's something called cross-site scripting, SQL injection, and IDOR. So these are the vulnerabilities of website. That is called OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. So what happens is whenever you do web penetration testing, you first scan the website, and if you find these vulnerabilities, what I'm telling you, right? You penetrate and see how much is the criticality, and after every issue, a penetration tester work is to make a report, generate a detailed report. So in that report, these things come. CVSS, Common Vulnerability Scoring System. I will show you how it works now in the coming up slide. CVSS stands for Common Vulnerability Scoring System. It is a framework to evaluate and rank reported vulnerabilities in a standardized and repeatable way. What is all considered to generate the CVSS score is the attack vector, attack complexity, privileges required, user interaction scope, confidentiality and availability. See, I told you, right? So if you get something called headers, HTTP header, you can consider it to be none or low vulnerability because it cannot I mean, harm the system that much as of 9 to 10. That is the critical. That means SQL vulnerability, IDOR or SSRF, CSRF. All these vulnerability, what you find, it comes under 9 to 10 range. So the low range comes under 0.1 to 3.9. That is, you can take it as 4. And 4 to 7 comes under medium severity level. 7 to 9 comes under high. And 9 to 10 comes under critical. So it depends on the vulnerability you find in the website. You have to make like something called CVSS score and the CVSS security severity level. So suppose you find a vulnerability for SQL injection or any other critical vulnerability, you have to put vulnerability name 9 to 10 score for score is the thing. And for severity, you have to put it critical or high. It depends on the vulnerability you find. So that's how you make CVSS score and just generate a report according to this. And after that, you have to give a proper mitigation to the organization on whom you are doing the testing. On like if you find that vulnerability, how you have to escape it for the next time. So the next time this vulnerability is not seen in the website to protect the data for other users. Now, let us come to penetration testing and ethical hacking. Differences between penetration testing and ethical hacking. Penetration testing is the process of assessing the security of a computer network, computer system or network by simulating an attack to identify vulnerabilities that attackers could potentially exploit. This usually done through defined methodology and involves high range of manual and automatic penetration testing. So there's some software called Nmap, Metasploit, and Burp Suite. So Burp Suite is nothing but you can do manual attack and there is something called automated testing attack also. So if you want to find a password, that comes under automated. And if you want to do privilege escalation, you have to go to administrator level access. So for that, you have to do manual testing. So that comes under proxy tab, which is under Bubs. I will explain you all that in the coming section. So that is how penetration testing is done. Ethical hacking now. Ethical hacking is the act of testing a computer system or network for security vulnerability by exploiting them to demonstrate the possible security threats. Ethical hacking aims to identify and exploit vulnerabilities the same way attacker would. Like how an attacker would do, like doing social engineering first, getting all the details of whatever the system required, then trying to get the access point and then accessing and then doing privilege escalation and then clearing the tracks in the sense like after you enter inside the attacker, the victim machine, when what a thief does, erasing his thing, right? So that he doesn't get caught. Same way, hackers also, after they get in the system and do the damage to the system, they clear their tracks so that even if the blue team, now the blue team comes into play. So now when the blue team monitors, uh, if you clear the logs, the security people, SOC analysts, the blue team guys will not know where is the theft happened and how it has happened. So that's how ethical hacking is done. Now next, let us come to types of cybersecurity testing. Vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, application security testing, web app application security testing, API testing, security auditing, and risk assessment. So vulnerability scanning in the sense finding the vulnerabilities, that is the loophole. I mean not loophole, finding what is the issue here, like remote code execution or some other things like that. This is called vulnerability scanning. And penetration testing, I have already told you, manual and automated testing you have to do to the system to find out the issue in the system. What is application security testing is like You enter the system and you check every software is there any issue. That is called thick client penetration testing. Thick client penetration testing is nothing but called as application security testing. And web application security testing nothing but, as I've told you, checking the web shell and then web server. Is there any in issue like SQL or IDOR vulnerability? And API testing is like the link what you get in the Google Chrome bar, right? The menu bar. Like I'll just show you. So in this, this called the API. This called the API call. So with using this, they will find the vulnerability. So that is called API testing. And security auditing is nothing but the complaints auditing, like PCI DSS means payment card industry data security standard, which is used in credit card industry. And risk assessment and vulnerability scanning is almost same. Little bit difference is there, but that's all. And next is uh, what are the careers you can go in cyber security industry? Very, very interesting. You can go as a cyber security analyst, cyber security researcher. I am a cyber security researcher and cyber security consultant, penetration tester, vulnerability assessment, VAPT, that's called vulnerability assessment and penetration testing consultant. Like consultant in the sense talking to the external companies, like how to make sure that they don't, there'll be no vulnerabilities in the system. There's something called SOC manager. This comes under blue teaming. And you can go as a cybersecurity auditor. You can go as an application security engineer or a cybersecurity engineer. So engineering in the sense, doing automation for the tools. Suppose you have to do a Nmap network scanning and you don't have a tool for that. So what a security engineer does is he creates he creates the tool or develops the tool using Python coding language and then does it, and so that the VAPT, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing consultant people have a easy time to do the job. So that's how the careers and information security is there. Now, as I've told you, the compliance, that is the auditing part. Some of the common legislation and regulations are PCI DSS. It is an information security standard designed to reduce payment card fraud by increasing security control around cardholder data. HIPAA comes under the protecting health information and request healthcare provides to implement and safeguard to ensure confidentiality, integrity, and availability to protect health information. ISO 27001. This is a very, very common security auditing, which is there in most of the companies. It's called International Standard of or International Organization of Standardization. There's something called SOX, that is the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2020. It is a US federal law aimed at improving the transparency and financial disclosure of public traded companies. And GDPR is a data privacy regulation law that was enacted in the Euros in May 2018. The primary aim of GDPR is to provide enhanced security data protection rights for individuals within the EU, thus the European countries. Legal aspects in scanning the public website. Now imagine yourself, okay? No, that's all. That's all about the career information security and the PPT what I'm teaching now. Legal aspect. Imagine your institute, basically BIA, must obtain permission from SBI Bank, that is State Bank of India, before conducting any testing activities using a penetration testing agreement. So basically, whenever you're doing as a blue team, blue hat hacker, that is the like external hacker, you have to take permission before, and then there'll be like a lot of rules of engagement, that is ROE, and then other relevant information about the testing activity. And you must be a certified ethical hacker and a bug bounty hunter before doing this penetration testing agreement. So your company must adhere to all the application laws, policies, and the regulation, including the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, that is CFAA, and Electronic Communication Privacy Act, that is ECPA. So these both things are very, very important before you start up penetration testing for any other companies for external use. So your company must limit their testing activity and agree scope of testing and avoid, sorry for the interruption, avoid any activities that could harm the website, bank, or its customer. Your company must maintain the confidentiality of all the data information obtained during the testing activity, and you should not share the testing activity with anybody. So your company must promptly notify SBI, any company. I'm just giving an example like SBI Bank, that is State Bank of India Bank, for of any vulnerabilities identified during the testing, and provide very, very detailed report with remediation and recommendations to help the bank address the issue so that the bank doesn't have any hackers hacking into their server. That's all, guys. Thank you for the time. So that's all for the penetration testing introduction to cybersecurity and ethical hacking PPT. Sir, do you want me to show any practical sessions, or is that enough for the session, sir?
You can if you want. You have 10 or 20 minutes left.
Definitely, sir. I will show the base. As the people do not know what are the tools, I will just explain what are the tools, why it is used, and what is the meaning of it. So
Yes,
this,
you can just go through it. Yeah, yeah, sure.
so that the people will have interaction also, interactive session. So this is okay. Basically, just a minute, sir. So basically, this is the software what I'm using to connect to my Kali Linux. As I'm using Windows machine, so if you want to install any Kali Linux, you can directly install it. Or there is some software called virtual machine. That's called VMware. Okay. So after installing the VMware, there is something called home. Create a new virtual machine, open a virtual machine, and connect to a remote server. So if you want to install Kali Linux or any other Kali Linux, the software what we are using. Generally, hackers use Kali Linux. It's a Linux distribution. It's by Debian, and you have to click on new virtual machine and then install the ISO file of Kali Linux. As I already opened the Kali Linux software, I cannot be showing you how to install it. I'll be just preparing a demonstration for you how ethical hacking is done, and how today I'll be showing you how system hacking is done, getting inside other system. Okay, so if you click here like this, first it will be a black one, terminal emulator. Always remember, you have to click on the root access terminal, and you have to enter the root password. While installing the software, you will be getting all the root access. You have to set the root access password. So I have just set a very easy password so I remember it. This is called a terminal, okay? In Kali Linux, this is called terminal. And how operating is done is, now we have to know that what is the IP address, that is the internet protocol address of this victim machine. The victim machine is what I'm today using is Windows XP Professional, okay? As this is a very old system, for practice purpose, there is a lot of vulnerabilities in the system. So it is vulnerability in the sense issues in the system. So it is easy to hack inside for practice purpose. Okay. So today I am using Windows XP for as the attack machine. I mean the target machine. So how you have to do? What you have to do now is click go to start, go to command prompt. Here you have to type something called IP config. Okay, click, press enter. Now Ethernet adapter local area network. Okay, there's something called IP address, internet protocol address. Now this is the permanent IP address. IP address in the sense this is the networking name. what generally it is assigned to whenever you get connect to a network. Okay, this is the IP address 192.168.107.128. Okay, so what I will be doing is I will first, there's something called ping, in the sense to check if that IP address is working or not. So for that you have to type ping and then 192.168.107.128 and then click enter. Now see guys, as it is getting pinged, these numbers are coming, right? Time. So if it is pinging, that means the IP address is working. There is no issue with the network. So now what we have to do is there's some tool called Nmap, that is called network mapper, the most powerful network map scanning tool. Okay, what you have to do is type Nmap. Okay, and then uh, just type the IP address what you have typed right now, 192.168.107.128. Okay, just click enter. Now it will scan. See what, why I have pressed this is, now first I want to make you understand this. What I am right now doing is I am doing reconnaissance on about that particular system. So reconnaissance in the sense information gathering about the particular network or a system. So when I have typed nmap and the IP address of that particular target IP, I have got the nmap scanning report of that particular IP. Then there is something called port, uh, which again comes under network technologies. And there's something called TCP, that means transmission control protocol. So this is also one of the networking thing. And what is the state? It is, that is the port is open. And what is the survey is 135 is MSRP, Microsoft PC, 139 is BIOS, and 445 is Microsoft DS. So now I'm going to do the reconnaissance on about the 445 port number. Okay. So what you have to do is in map hyphen, that is called minus a, aggressive scanning, and then click the right keyboard arrow key so that you directly go to the network. Now what I'm doing is I'm going aggressive scan so that I can even get the OS details of that particular system. So now you will guys will be seeing what is the result I'll be getting now. Just a minute, it is in the scanning progress. It's already started scanning the nmap. Okay, so this is the overall aggressive scan. See, now I'm able to see the device purpose and what is the Windows I'm running. It's running on Microsoft Windows XP. And what is the OS detail? It is Microsoft Windows XP Service Pack 2 or Service Pack 3. And network distance is 1 service info, Windows XP, CPE, and all these things. You can get lot of details so that while attacking, the target system, if you get so many details, it will be very useful for you to do the penetration test, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Okay. So now, as we have got the port number 445, now I will be finding what is the vulnerability available in that particular port number. Okay, so for that I have to type again in map minus that is hyphen p port 445. Hyphen p is this number 445. So I put 445 here and then you have to type hyphen script Well, that is vulnerability and the IP address 190.168.107.128 and then space hyphen capital P and N. In the sense, this capital P and N stops the host discovery scanning. That is it won't ping. So it'll be easy for the Nmap to scan the issue. Now I am pressing enter. So again, it will start scanning the vulnerabilities for that particular port number. Just a minute, guys. I will show you that. Now, see, guys. Now, as we have scanned the port number 445 and trying to find out what is the vulnerability available for that IP address. See, this is the vulnerability. Remote code execution vulnerability in Microsoft's SMB, that is Samba server. It's a server. State is vulnerable and risk factor is very high. Okay. So I am going to, when there is one more vulnerability called MS0. Now see, as you have, as I have told you, right? CV, common vulnerability and exposure. This is the thing. This is the ID, and this is the CV ID. Common vulnerability exposure 2017. This error, this vulnerability was found in Windows XP, and this is the number. And risk factor, that is the cruciality. Criticality is very high. A critical remote code execution vulnerability exists in Microsoft Samba server. That is the, and this is the, again ID for hacker to know the what is the vulnerability and this is the ID of the thing. Now there is one more vulnerability. State is vulnerable. This is the CVID. It's called Microsoft Windows System vulnerable to remote code execution. So this is the vulnerability what I'll be choosing today. MS08067. So now what you have to do is how to get inside others hacking system is there's a software called Metasploit. It is a Metasploit framework tool we use for penetration testing. And that software was developed by a company called Rapid7. Okay. So how we have to get in, start the software is just type MSF console and then click enter. See guys, it is started. Starting the Metasploit framework console. Now I will show you how to get inside the XP machine and get the full control. Right now, as we have entered the Metasploit software, there is something called Metasploit version 6. That is the V6. That is the version I'm using currently for the Metasploit software. There in Metasploit software, there are 2426 exploits, auxiliary, post, payload, encoders, knobs, and invasion. All these are the features what is available in the Metasploit software. Okay. So now, as we have already found the vulnerability, you need not do it again. So I'm going to take this particular vulnerability today. MS806, and that is Microsoft Windows System vulnerability remote code is RCE, the most critical and crucial for ethical hacking, for hacking basically. So how you have to do is just type the command search MS08 hyphen 067. Click enter. Now these are the IDs. So many exploits you can, these are the modules. So many modules you can use. But the best module what we will be using today's ID number 0. This is called the ID. ID number 0. 0 is the thing what we can use. You can type use. There's a command you have to like type use. You can type the ID number 0 or press this direct the name of the vulnerable thing what you exploit, what you're using, and then click enter. Now it is like there is no payload configured. Now the normal MSF Metasploit, it got option of exploit also. Okay. So what now we have to do is we have to configure it. How to configure this particular vulnerabilities? Just type show options. Now there is something called, these are the options. Now there is something called R host. R host is that attackers. This is the target machine. So the target machine's IP is known as R host. That's called run host, or people depends on, sometimes people change the name and then call it accordingly. So how you have to do is you have to just type the command set R host. However, it is there like capital, and you have to type like this, and then you have to type the vulnerable domain, the IP address of the target machine, 1.192.168.107.128. Okay, just click enter. As you have already set arrows, again for double confirmation, just type show options. Okay, see guys, now as I have set the thing, it is coming on now. Arrows is set to the target machine. Now what you have to do is exploit or run command. Just click exploit to infiltrate the system and exploit it. Okay, I think this vulnerability is not working. Oh, shit. Just exit the console again. Type MSF console. Now just type use 0 so that you can use that payload. This is called a payload. Windows, Samba, and MS0867 and Net API. You just type show options once again. Now you have to set the R host. Set R host to 180. Click enter. Now type exploit. The old vulnerability did not work because instead of pressing 168, I put 1168 by mistake. So that is the reason the exploit did not work. Now the exploit will work because I put the correct number. See, there's something called started reverse TCP handler. In the sense, now you are inside the system. So how you have to find if you are in the system or not? That is using Metapredator. You have to type PWD. That's called power the current window directory. Just type cd dot enter, cd dot enter, and click on. Now if you have to find whatever is there, cd is nothing but chain directory. Now in Kali Linux and Metasploit, you have to control it only by doing cd and ls in the sense list. If you see the list, you can see all the things whatever is there in the C drive. Just by typing in the command, you can directly do it. Now there is something called folder. You can see a folder called practice. So how you have to do is press cd directory and then just type practice, cd practice. Now if you want to see whatever is there in the practice folder, just type ls and then click enter. Now there is something two folders called names.txt and Cambridge and something like that. So as you are in the Windows XP machine, okay, and if you are already hacked it. Now you want to read the text file. You don't have anything. Now you have to type cat and then names.txt. If you type this, just click enter. You can read whatever you have written in the text file. Whichever text file is it, you can read by putting cat comment before that text file option. Now, how you have to go back is cd space dot dot ls. Now you went back cd space slash slash. Okay, now type help command. If there's something called sessions, now just type bg. Okay, type session 2 sessions. Type help command. Now, as you have got all the controls, you can try doing all this. Like use all the commands and then try to do whatever you can with the system. So how you have to do is just type friends connect. There's you can do all these options. Now, as I can control the XP machine, now I will type PG again. You can just type help to see all the comments whatever you have to see here. These are the comments what is there in the system. So this how you have to penetrate inside a system and then do the needful. You can do whatever you want to do right now in the system. That's all. Uh, you are already in the system XP machine. Uh, That's all. That's all, guys. That's all. You have been exited from the XP machine, and now, yeah. That's all, sir. I have
Okay,
showed the demo now. Let
okay,
me know
okay.
if you
I
want.
appreciate your time, Akshat, for delivering this insightful session. And thank you so much, interns, for joining this live session on Introduction to Cybersecurity and Ethical Hacking.
Got it, sir.
Thank you so much again. So all of you guys may leave now. Your attendance has been recorded. Thank you so much.
Sure, sir. Let me know if any other session to be taken in further classes. Definitely, I'll be very happy to do the practical demonstration and how to do password cracking and stuff like that, sir.
Yeah, sure, yeah, sure. No problem. Okay. Thank you so
Okay,
much
sir.
for your time, guys. And
Thank you.
you, Akshat.
Thank you so much, sir, for inviting me for this beautiful session. I will
Yeah,
really appreciate you. Thank you
yeah.
so much. Hope to
Okay.
see you soon for the next session.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can I leave, sir?
Yes, yes, you can. You can.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, all. Thank you for giving the time and goodbye.